Shanahan becomes the 5th coach in NFL history to lose his first 3 Super Bowl appearances as head coach or coordinator, per NFL research. None of the previous 4 coaches have ever won a Super Bowl. Shanahan is in hallowed company in that regard, joining Marv Levy, Vikings' Bud Grant, Ted Marchibroda as an offensive coordinator with Washington and Buffalo, and longtime Vikings defensive coordinator Jerry Burns. Levy and Grant are Hall of Famers. Marchibroda and Burns are highly regarded coaches, but nevertheless, they've all fallen short of the Lombardi Trophy for his career as a head coach.
I think Kyle Shanahan is a terrific coach. I think he's Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Andy Reid was a terrific coach in Philadelphia. He didn't win the Super Bowl, but he was a terrific coach in Philadelphia. And Philly won a Super Bowl after getting rid of Andy Reid, but they didn't win a Super Bowl because they got rid of Andy Reid. And the Niners won't win a Super Bowl because they get rid of Kyle Shanahan. They're going to have to find, the Eagles found a guy in Doug Peterson that they could win a championship with. Interestingly enough, they chased him out, and they're now with Sirianni. And we don't know if Sirianni can win a championship. He's gotten close. But, I personally believe that Kyle Shanahan is a Super Bowl winning head coach who has not won his Super Bowl yet. That's what I believe. But I know there's lots of people that believe that Kyle Shanahan is an incredibly flawed coach and will never win a Super Bowl. So it just has to, what camp are you in? Are you in the camp that believes that he's flawed and that he'll never learn and that he'll never win, have that kind of fatalistic attitude that I'm sure Eagles fans had about Reid when he was there for 13 seasons and didn't get it done? Shanahan's going on season 7, I believe here. He hasn't gotten it done.
8.
It's 8. Okay. So it's 7 in the books. 8. This is year number 8. So yeah, he's still 5 years away from, the Eagles pulled the plug on Reid after 13 seasons. The Niners may pull the plug on Shanahan. You don't get forever.
Shanahan is 8-4 in the playoffs. That equals a .667 winning percentage that stands as the highest in league history without winning an NFL championship or a Super Bowl. Since 2010, the 49ers have advanced to 7 conference title games, the most in the NFC. However, they're 3-4 in those 7 games with 0 Super Bowl victories to show for it. So none of the history lines up that the 49ers are about to do this, but just because something hasn't been done doesn't mean it won't be done. And I would still very much bet on Shanahan to do this.
They're favored to win it this year. Whatever. Take that for whatever it's worth.
Whatever that's worth.
Yeah, it's hard to win, but they're in it. They're in the mix. They got a shot.
Never in the history of my covering sports life or even rooting for the NFL life, I have never seen a Super Bowl loss so thoroughly scored against an offensive coordinator when the theme of that Super Bowl was they blew a 28-3 lead, right?
Right. If you said to me, give me a comparison that you think's appropriate, that would be it. I would say he is Andy Reid in Philly. He's had good teams. Shanahan has lost. Let's just isolate this for just a second. Shanahan lost a Super Bowl where Tom Brady beat Matt Ryan, and he had Matt Ryan. He lost a Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes beat Jimmy Garoppolo. He had Jimmy Garoppolo. And he lost a Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes beat Brock Purdy, and he had Brock Purdy. So, yes, the Niners were favored in this last one, but great quarterbacks typically win the Super Bowl. The best go back and look at the history of the Super Bowl. There's probably only like 1 or 2 examples where the better quarterback actually's team lost the game. Usually the better quarterback's team wins the game. And you could make the argument that the better team in all 3 of Shanahan's Super Bowl won the game. I think Purdy's good, and I think Matt Ryan's good, and I thought Jimmy was good the year they were there, but the other quarterbacks were better. Everybody wanted to dump on Brock Purdy, and the plan was, let's just crap on Brock Purdy because he is the weakness. And then something ruined that story because he came out and showed that he wasn't. So now it's like, oh, shit, can't blame him. All right, well, who can we blame? Oh, Kyle. We'll blame Kyle. So now it's Kyle can't do it. And there's people up here in the chat. Kyle equals choke artist. Replace Kyle with Belichick. There's this anti-Kyle bend. The one thing that's clear is that, Shanahan is a great coach, and they haven't gotten it done yet. So it's like, if you want to hold his feet to the fire because they haven't gotten it done, I think that's totally fair. When you get fatalistic in this, he's never going to do it. Well, you could have gotten fatalistic, and I'm sure many WIP radio hosts in Philly were quite fatalistic on Andy Reid's ability to win the Super Bowl all those years that he lost with McNabb. But he lost with McNabb. Was McNabb better than Brady in the Super Bowl? No.
Tatum and Brown will never win an NBA title together. Oops.
Yeah. You have until you have.
Phil Mickelson will never win oops.
Right. Easter Sunday, Masters. I remember it. Yeah. Never, don't, so I get it. It's not just that Shanahan has lost. He has had a hand in more than one of these defeats and needs to own it. But there's a big difference between, hey, we got a great coach who's made a couple bad decisions and he needs to own it. And, compare that to, what? It's Chip Kelly running shitty plays at a breakneck speed. It's Jim Tomsula. It's Mike Singletary. It's Mike Nolan. I like the smell in the building and all this crap. You've got a top tier NFL head coach. He hasn't done it yet. So, what do you want to do? What do you want to do about it? Personally, I look at things, and this because you and I know each other well, but I look at things from not what Shanahan does. I look at things. I'm a players guy. I believe in players. Steve Kerr, bad coach, or Steve Kerr, a great coach. Well, you know what? Some people would say he's super overrated and he just had great players. Other people would say, no, he's underrated and he's absolutely a great coach. Well, either way, he's got rings. And sometimes that's the bottom line. But to me, I believe that they will eventually get it done with Shanahan.
To evaluate this franchise,
not everybody believes
any other way other than, boy, they got a really good team. Boy, they're awfully close. It would be stupid to give up on this formula right now. That's it. That's where they are. There's only one thing left for the 49ers to do, and that's win the Super Bowl. They have done everything else. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.